And it's time for episode number 6 of the Justapod podcast. And we're going to talk a little Northeastern Conference basketball this afternoon. And it is the 28th year head coach of the Wrightstown Tigers. It's Cory Haese. Hey, Cory, thanks for joining us on the Justapod.
Thank you for having me.
You know, when I'm searching for coaches to talk to, your name is at the top of the list because I think you got a future in broadcasting, to be quite honest. You can talk about basketball with the best of them. You can talk about your players, X's and O's. Always a great time catching up with your basketball program, and you've had a ton of success over the years. And obviously these last few years, though, I maybe want you to comment on this a little bit. You always have great kids. You always have kids that just bust their tails. I mean, your kids play about as hard as any kids out there. I don't care what conference you talk about, what level, what division. But the struggles have been real for your program a little bit, scoring the basketball, taking care of the basketball. Maybe just talk about not only last year, 10-8 in the conference, 16-12 overall. Just talk about maybe not only last year, but just the last few years coaching in a small town such as Wrightstown.
I've been very fortunate. 28 years in Wrightstown. It's just a great community. Awesome kids, awesome families that work hard and have good value systems. So I've been very fortunate as far as discipline problems or parental problems. They've really been non-existent. We haven't had any here. I've had great administration support, which really helps as well. Obviously to make all that go smooth. But we went to state in 2021, the COVID year, with the masks on. We played at state, and since then, our records haven't been the best. We've had some big wins here and there. Our league has been pretty tough. I like the competition of our league night in and night out. It's a really nice league, you need guys that can put the ball in the basket. And we've struggled with that at times. We've had some, as you mentioned, some really good players through the years, obviously. But, at our level, if we could really get 3 good kids out of each class that really could play, and we got all of our kids, like you mentioned. I'm real happy with, the culture and the chemistry that we have. I mean, you have to play hard. If our guys aren't going to give out effort, they know they're just not going to play. We're here for a reason. We might as well play and go and get after it. So, and we do. Our guys, I don't think many teams like playing us, even though our skill level might be down a little bit. And we might not have guys filling it like we did in the past. We're still working. We're working, and we're working with this Saturday. We were working with our K through 4 kids, and it's a battle. It's a constant a battle of continuing to work and strive to get better, and that's what we're doing day in and day out.
One of the things that stands out is you do lose a lot of seniors last year and guys that contributed heavily. 4 in particular, and it's a first team all NEC last year, 17.5 points a game. Ethan Syra. And then, of course, Aiden Humphreys, one of the best 3-sport athletes that has come out of Wrightstown in some time, 10 points a game, 3 rebounds. Caden Caldwell, as well as Jaden Kiddo. Those were your 4 starters that have graduated. So talk about this team and how young it is. There are 5 seniors on the team, but those 4 right there, along with the other 3, maybe talk about all 7 if you can real briefly, and how difficult that could be this year, as you have started off with 2 losses, 2 games, in fact, and I'll have you talk about this too. Manitowoc Lutheran and FVL, both of those games you led at the break. In fact, 8-point lead against FVL. But talk about your losses, and then maybe we'll get into those first 2 games and how that's looked so far.
Yeah, we had 7 seniors last year, which is awesome, which is a great number. I was real happy for those guys. We ended up a 6 seed in the playoffs. So we had a home game on a Tuesday, and we're fortunate enough to win. And then Friday night, we went to the 2 seed, Wittenberg, Bermanwood, and we're able to beat them. And then Saturday in a regional championship game, the 3 seed was Seymour Thunder, and we were able to upset them. So winning 2 games on the road in the playoffs and earning a regional championship was really special for those 7 seniors for sure. And obviously 4 of them you mentioned all started and played a lot. Ethan is playing college basketball at Benedictine University this season. and he's a very good player. He was a walking bucket. I always called him. He could score the basketball. And like you mentioned, Aiden Humphreys, an incredible three-sport athlete. Obviously, Caden Cowell and Jaden Kiddo were two-sport athletes. They're all big three. The last three were very big parts of our football team that made it to state 2 years in a row. And then the three kids that came off the bench and they played quite a bit was Bennett Herman, uh, um, uh, Caleb Podorski, and Bennett Tinus. Those three were big parts of our program. So, when you lose 7 kids from your rotation, the next year is going to be a little learning curve, and we're in the midst of that right now. Truman started for us last year, but and Asher played a little bit, and Danny played quite a bit. But we got 3 kids back with experience and 1 starter, so we're mixing and matching some crews and some different lineups, and just battling. We're battling, and every possession is a battle for us.
Yeah, that Seymour game you referenced, boy, that was a monster win. That Thunder team is stacked, and
Yeah,
they're ready for a big time year, I think, in the Bay Conference. Let's talk a little bit about those first 2 games. So I mentioned the fact that you were leading at halftime in both of these ball games, but you look at some of the shooting numbers, and then probably most concerning to you against Manitowoc Lutheran, at least a game that you lost by 13, you led by 3 at the break. 21 turnovers, and you miss 8 free throws as well. Only 14 of 42 from the field. And those are going to be some struggles early on, I would imagine, before your team, grows and gains confidence on the offensive end. But one thing that's always been very consistent with your team over the years is defensively. I know you as a coach and your staff really hang your hat on playing very good defense, because that's something that can be more consistent in shooting the basketball.
yeah, yeah. Defense. I mean, that's something that you can bring every day. Sometimes the shots might not fall or whatever, but defensively, you can bring that energy and effort every single day. And our first 2 games, our first game against Manitowoc Lutheran, who's picked to win their league. 5 of the 8 teams that we play in our non-con schedule are picked either to win their conference or be second or third. So we got a tough non-con schedule, but Manny Lou, we had a decent lead at the end of the first half, and then we ran into a scoring drought. We didn't score for the first 9 minutes of the second half, and sometimes when you're not scoring and not doing things offensively very well, that'll dip into what happens on D at times. If you're constantly going down and having empty opportunities, it wears on you, and that's a maturity thing. We got to get better at that, and we got to get way better offensively on understanding what a good shot is, and just getting a shot. We turn the ball over way too much, and just that film getting out there, everybody's going to press us full court, man to man. We got to deal with it. With the personnel, we have 13 guys, and we got to find somebody and a couple different guys that will be able to make an entry pass to get us into an offense. And that's been a struggle right now in both of our first 2 games. So, we just really got to focus on little things. Just passing and catching and dribbling have been real tough. And we got great attitudes. Kids are working their tails off, flying around. But we got to find a way to get shot attempts and good shot attempts.
And it doesn't get any easier, by the way. You got Freedom tomorrow night. We know about the Irish and their state appearance last year. So we'll talk about the conference in a little bit, but let's get into this roster. Obviously, you got some new names on this roster. Normally, I'll start with the backcourt, but you know what? I'm old school, kind of like you, maybe. I like to talk about post players and guys with some size. I'm sick of talking about 3-point shots all the time. I think 2 points is just as good as 3 sometimes. Okay, maybe it's 1 less. I get it. But the 2-point shots are easier to make, generally speaking. So let's start with the big man in the middle. Like this kid because of his size, 6'6", senior, Truman Morshauser. Talk about his game, 5.5 points, 4.5 rebounds. I am sure you're expecting those numbers to increase dramatically this year.
Yeah. Truman is a returning starter from last year. Tireless worker, great leader. He's gonna score more offensively for us. He even will admit that he's missed some post moves and some finishes around the rim that normally he's going to make. He'll have a little more added role for us this year. Caden Cowell was a tremendous defender and pretty much defended 1 through 5, however we wanted him to last year. And that's kind of where Truman is. He was the defensive player of the year in the Northeastern Conference in soccer this year. He's got great speed, great athleticism for a lot of length at 6'6". So he will be put in position to guard some point guards potentially. Obviously, tomorrow night he's going to have Mr. Davis from Freedom, but he's always guarding our opponent's best player. So a little more added role on the defensive end for him, and maybe that's hindered him a little bit on the offensive end, but he will come through. He rebounds, loose balls. He just plays really, really hard. So he's been real positive. He'll be real positive for us as the year goes.
3 seniors in the starting lineup. I want to talk about this kid. Kind of a good basketball body, if you will. I think he might have grown a little bit. I'm looking at 6'5", Asher Vandenheuvel. I don't remember him being listed at 6'5". He might have grown a little bit, but slender body. But talk about his athleticism, just over 3 points a game last year.
Yeah, Asher's coming off an injury this summer, so he didn't play a lot this summer. And then he just got back for the last couple of weeks of football. And he's a ball handler for us. He's a creator for us. He's going to be a better defender for us at 6'5" with his length. And we're expecting a really good year from Ash. And it just hasn't come offensively yet, but it's early. We're all trying to find our way around things. Last year, we were pretty fortunate with Ethan Syra that he could pretty much give you 20, whether we tried to get him 20 or not. He could score it. And, this year we might have, if we're going to be successful, I think we're going to have 5 or 6 guys between that 8 and 11 point game deal. And Nash is right in there as one of them. He can score at all 3 levels, and he's continuing to work hard, and things are going to start getting better.
And Ash talk about your third senior.
Yep,
starting guard.
And then our third starting guard, third senior that starts, Danny Button. Probably heard of him during football season. 2-time unanimous outside linebacker on our football team. And this year he got moved to quarterback. He's a great leader, just a pit bull with energy and toughness. He loves to defend. Great defender for us and a big leader for us. And he's going to play a lot of minutes. So those 3 seniors we're really expecting a lot out of, because they all got some experience back from last year, and they're the only ones. So they're with a lot of younger kids. And those 3 are going to be real key to see how far we can go this year.
And then, of course, we talked about the youth on your ball club. A couple of sophomores here we're going to talk about. One in particular, I should say, and one junior. Rogan Thompson, a junior. Some more good size, though, 6'4". And then Jack Genke's been getting the start, a 6'1" sophomore guard. Talk about those 2 kids.
Yeah, Rogan Thompson came up as a sophomore last year for our tournament run, so we got to spend 2 weeks with him and practice with us and really get a good grasp of where he's at. Obviously, a very good baseball player, plays a lot of baseball in the summer, and he's a good basketball player. He's just an all-around tough kid. He offensive rebounds very well. He'll guard. He's very coachable. And his shots, I think he's 0 for 3 from 3 range. And, 2 out of those 3, I was worried that he was going to break the backboard, but, those shots, he'll get a little softer as they go. But he's and he can handle the ball for being a big. He's got a pretty good IQ for the game, which is really needed. So, Rogan's going to be a big part of our team. And Jack Genke's a sophomore, and I don't quite know if he's a true point guard, but he's playing point guard for us out of default because we really don't have any others. And he's doing the best he can do. He can score it a little bit too, and he's only going to continue to grow and get better. His great attitude, loves the game. His sister just graduated from UW Green Bay, where she had a stellar career for the GB Phoenix women. So basketball is in his body and in his blood, and he plays hard. He plays real hard, and he's going to get tons better as the season progresses as well.
So we talked about Ethan Syra earlier, graduating with that 17.5 points per game. Let's talk about his younger brother here. Coming off the bench, he led your team to 11 points against Manitowoc Lutheran. Alden Syra, 6'1" sophomore. So can he fill it up like his brother? And what kind of shooter is he?
Well, he's a very good shooter. And all brothers are a little bit different here and there. And Alden can really, really shoot the basketball. and we're really working on him defensively and just learning. He's young. He's played a lot of basketball, and but we're learning with him all the time and trying to get better. And he's doing a great job for us. And he's, it's a work in progress, just like when Ethan was a sophomore and played like a seventh, eighth man role. That's kind of where Alden's going to be at. And then we got another sophomore up on our varsity this year, 6'5", Caden Hagerstrom. He's another kid that plays a ton of basketball in his life and in AU and all spring, and he was a good football player as well. But he's been playing. He only played one game last week, but he gave us some really good minutes. He can score it a little bit too. So we're really looking forward to those two sophomores, having them for 3 years, obviously, and watching them improve as the year goes on. It's pretty big for us.
Yeah, one thing in your program, and I'm sure it's not going to change much this year, you really like to rotate as many guys as you can. It's pretty common, right? 10, 11 guys. You're kind of the hockey line change guy, I say. A
Yeah.
lot of 5-for-5s and things of that nature.
Yeah. If we had maybe if we were in the FVA or a college team where we could recruit our numbers and recruit our athletes, we would recruit that system. But at our level, at the high school level, we got to kind of adapt a little bit to what we are, and where that rotation goes. So I don't know if we'll be able to go 9 or 10, but we'd love to if we could. We'd love to go if we could.
Yep, no doubt about that. Visiting with Cory Haese from Wrightstown, 28 years in the coaching business. They start off 0-2. They get freedom tomorrow night. And Coach, want to get into this Northeastern Conference. I've talked about this for years. This is a very good conference, and I'm not just talking basketball. This has a lot of good athletes in it, in other sports as well. But when you're talking about basketball, obviously you got to start with the Freedom Irish and then work your way down from there. Little Chute always kind of in the mix as well. Luxembourg Casco got off to a nice little start, beating Little Chute in their first conference matchup. O'Connell Falls also off to a 1-0 start. But why don't you go ahead and kind of break down the Northeastern? Obviously, Freedom, I don't think there's any question that they're kind of being banked on to win this conference. Once again, Donovan Davis, obviously their do everything player, but break us down here a little bit in the NEC.
Yeah, every night's going to be a real tough battle for us. And Freedom is no exception. Obviously, they're one of the top teams in the state. Kind of depressing when I'm working on Scouting Report and working all weekend for them. They don't start a senior either.
Yeah.
So they're young. They got a couple of really good sophomores, and obviously their junior class is really loaded. So, but they're a very nice basketball team. And Little Chute's got a lot of talent. They started a little slow. Little Chute has, going. And I know exactly what Coach Vinroy's going through, going to the state tournament in football. You miss a week of practice and all of his kids, you could tell by the blonde hair. They all bleach their hair blonde. So you can tell the football players on his team right now. But they'll be very strong as the year goes on for sure. And yeah, Luxembourg Casco, like you mentioned, they had a real nice summer. They put in a lot of time. They got some good players, and they're getting it together. So that's a nice squad there. Other teams, O'Connell Falls has 2 of the top players in the conference coming back. They're very good. So that'll be a tough matchup for anybody. And Denmark beat a very good, brilliant team last week. So Denmark's got some pieces and a real good senior in Cade DeLarwell. Every night, Clintonville's got a nice win already. So we lost Fox Valley Lutheran from our conference. They entered the Bay this year, so we have a 9-team league. But every night is going to be a tough one. Wapaka, they always play super hard, and they got a lot of pieces back from last year. Even Marinette has a lot of pieces back from last year. So yeah, every night's going to be a struggle for sure. And that's good though. That only gets you better for the stretch run.
Yeah, you mentioned FVL. That makes the Bay Conference stronger. Obviously, they go over there. West of Pier makes the Fox River Classic stronger, without a doubt. So a little bit of shuffling around. But yeah, NEC, it's always a great conference. We saw what Freedom did. And I just took a peek at the roster, actually. And yeah, this isn't just the Donovan Davis show. They bring back a number of really high-level players. Mm-hmm. So that is going to be a big challenge. maybe give us a little sneak peek into tomorrow night. What do you do with this Donovan Davis guy amongst their other players? Obviously, you guys want to slow this basketball game down.
Yeah, we got to get the ball across half court first of all, and just try and get some good looks because their tempo when they get out in transition, it's impossible almost to stop uh, Donovan in transition. He's so good at offensive rebounding in transition. So if we can force him to play 5-on-5 offense and we don't, turn the ball over every other time, I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay. I know our guys will battle and we'll fight and we'll see what happens. It's fun. It'll be fun. I told the kids, you never know. Shaka Smart might be in the crowd. You might have Coach Gardo before he goes to Nebraska on Wednesday might be in the crowd. Who knows?
Right.
Because Donovan obviously draws a lot of attention right now, which he
Yeah,
should.
I haven't really,
It's well
I haven't really
deserved.
looked much ahead to see where he's being recruited, but he's going to land himself at a nice Division One spot. I don't think he's committed to anything as of yet, but
No,
he's
has
a
not.
phenomenal athlete. Very, very
Mhm,
fun to watch indeed. I want
for
to ask
sure.
you about this. I talked to Coach Bowers the other day from Kaukauna, and he's coaching his son,
Mhm.
freshman sharpshooter, I might add. Wow, what a start for him. I think he was
Yeah.
5 for 9 on opening night, and then he comes back with a 6 for 9 from distance the other night or something like that. And he's just off to a great start. I asked him about coaching his son, and he had a little bit different perspective on it than I did. I looked at it more like that could be kind of difficult potentially. And he says, no, it's more of a great opportunity and something to create memories with. So I wanted to pick your brain on this because you've coached 3 Haeses
Hmm.
and maybe talk about the experience that maybe what Coach Bowers is talking about, how that's created so many memories over your lifetime, being able to coach 3 boys.
Yeah, a lot of our core memories of my family with my 3 sons and my wife revolve around high school basketball, some shape or form. Even middle school or elementary school basketball. So, there isn't a time that we don't get together and have some kind of memory pop up, which is awesome. And it was a tremendous thing, and it was really nice that when you coach your kids, like Bowie's has right now, that you got a kid that can make some shots. And coaches' kids don't make free throws. I always told my kids, or don't miss free throws. I always told my
Yeah.
sons they couldn't miss free throws. It wasn't allowed, or else they weren't getting a snack at night before they went to bed. Something like that. But yeah, you got to keep it light. It can be strenuous on time. It may be most strenuous for mom in the situation than it is for player and dad. But yeah, I miss it and really cherish the 11 years I got to do that in Wrightstown. That was awesome.
So I'm going to ask you a really difficult question, and then maybe you can break down their games because they kind of all 3 somewhat different, I would say, their styles. But okay, they're going to probably hear this, so be careful. So let's rank them 1 through 3. They're going to kill either you or me on this. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's do that. We'll have a little fun now, and hopefully they don't take this too personally. But
Oh yeah.
let's go 1, 2, 3.
Well, it comes up with their friends a lot when we get together with their teammates. And we don't just say best player, I guess. We'll look at different things. If we go best shooter, Luke, our middle son, Luke Haese, just
Yep.
a phenomenal catch and shoot. One of the best shooters I've ever coached. And he was just knocked down nonstop at 6'5". All 3 of them were player of the years in the Northeastern. All 3 of them won conference championship, regional championship, stuff like that. So, as far as all around players, Zach was pretty good. Our oldest, he
He
went
was.
to on a Division II scholarship for a couple of years, and then transferred to UW lacrosse and had a good 2 years there. Luke and Zach were both on the lacrosse team that made the NCAA tournament the one year that they were together, and a lot of good memories there. And Sam is the only one. He got Wrightstown in our community to state. He was an all-state player for 2 years, and really could do just about everything well. They're all pretty special in their own way. And I'm biased, I think they're all great. They're all number ones.
Hey, I like that. That's a very that's a solid answer right there. You broke it down. You gave each one their
Yeah,
accolades.
yeah.
I'm going to finish with this. One of my memories. I just kind of thought about this because we talk about your kids, but you'll remember this. It was at Little Shoot. It was after a ball game, and this is one of the challenges of coaching when your sons are playing at the next level. But you
Oh,
had your iPhone out I was interviewing you, I believe, after the game, a win against Little Chute, and you pulled out your phone and watched, I believe it was Zach, right? At
Yeah,
lacrosse. They were playing
yeah,
in the
he was
Colf.
in the WEAC conference championship that same night at Oshkosh, and
Yep.
we had a game that same evening. Um, Fortunately, one of my other sons was on the team, so it wasn't like they were playing, and I didn't have any family with me. So Sam didn't have his mom or his grandparents or anybody with it. It was just
Yeah.
Sam and I in Little Chute that evening. But yeah, you're exactly right. That was some fun years. Busy but fun.
Yeah. You kind of had to multitask there. You get a
Yeah, for
win
sure.
coaching, and
Yep.
then you got to watch your son in the postseason. That was a fun memory
Yeah.
for me as well, because as a parent, I have two kids that are spaced apart pretty good, so I don't have that issue of two kids in high school at the same time or things of that nature. But I know how important it is to be there for your kids, and when you can't, this thing right here is pretty valuable technology, right? It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again, Coach Hayes. Always appreciate you checking up. We're going to have 5 games, 5 Wrightstown games on Sports Faith YouTube TV
Awesome.
coming up. So looking forward to another exciting basketball season. I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon, Coach.
Awesome, Craig. Thanks. You do great work, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate it. Well, if I could just do as great a work as you do on the sidelines coaching, I will be good someday.
There you go. Thank you.
All right, head coach Cory Haese joining us on Justapod. And if you want to listen or watch, you can go to the Just a Game YouTube channel. You can go to justagame.com, and you can listen to the audio version of these podcasts as well on Spotify and on Apple. That will do it for episode number 6. It was Cory Haese of the Wrightstown Tigers. Take care, everybody.